what about there is a barrier within media and event organizers that they say, oh, a studio, that's too expensive, right? And I'm not asking you to share specific numbers and everything, but I think it would be helpful if you can share some context around that label. Oh, is it too expensive? It takes too much, it's too much work. So
yeah,
can you talk us a little bit about that kind of element, how you would advise someone to overcome that barrier, that label of too expensive?
yeah. So I mean, I'd be really interested actually from the audience perspective, just for them to potentially throw some numbers into the Q&A and what they think we would spend in terms of kit and production. I'd be really intrigued by that, Ricardo.
Audience,
So
do you want to put it in the chat panel? How much do you guys think Adam spent on tech, building his studio, right? When you say tech, are you referring to, okay, sets, chairs, lighting, and all that?
Yeah, exactly that. So I'd say lighting, set build, cameras. What else have we got? Yeah, like sort of vision mixers, etc. I'm not including the we put SpotMe behind the scenes. So we integrated our studio with SpotMe. Okay. And we had that as our networking platform. I don't include that because I think that's
don't include any event, like any event logistics, like the usual virtual tech. Just talk about this stuff. Okay, so someone's saying 125K. Anyone else wants to have a punt as to?
There's a 50K from Oliver McCourt. 85K. Any other numbers coming through?
Silk
and again,
7 and 10.
There's some big variants. 10. Yeah.
Okay.
What's interesting is that the sort of the hidden cost here. I'll see if there's a few more before I will talk about it. But what's interesting is that the sort of the hidden cost was team time. Our sort of our events team, which is a very lightly staffed events team. Their time really was the way they used their time changed materially during this. They spent a large amount of time working with the sponsors. And actually, we ended up bringing in we brought in our events producer for our awards program to manage that and work with our own event operations manager, because we felt like our awards program is a very highly choreographed evening that works to time, and we felt that was close to how that studio worked, as it were. We got any more numbers coming in?
We've got anything from 10 up into 125, but yeah, probably the majority of people kind of think that was around, let's say north of 30K, 40K, 50. We'll have that.
Yeah. I mean, it was, there's going to be a lot of ways to cut this budget, but we spent roughly 20K on that kit, tops. Wow. And that included a rehearsal day. Full build, and of course we now own a lot of that set as well. So we invested. Some of it was kind of leased in, some of it we bought, etc. So yeah, it's about 20K.
About 20K. There you go. Yeah. So it doesn't really have to be that high. And then he was saying it includes rental of the space. But actually, it's fair to clarify that you build a studio in a warehouse in Oxfordshire. So
we did. We built.
Did that include the rental of the space?
That included the rental of the space, and actually the way we built the set was that we built a window into the set with a live stream from a Boston Harbor cityscape, and we only had, because it was obviously a North American panel, we only had North American panelists. We had a live North American panelist in the studio, and the rest was all videoed in with a screen at the back. So actually, most of we were never asked the question, are you hosting this in Oxford or in North America? But the assumption from our audience was that it was in Boston, which we kind of enjoyed, actually.
Amazing.
With that.
Amazing. That's kind of pretty good. So you've touched on I hope we've removed aspects on the element about the financial. It doesn't really have to cost a lot, as long as you're creative, as long as you kind of think outside the box on how you could undertake that. You've demonstrated that. Amazing. For clarity purposes, the studio is still sitting in that warehouse in Oxford.